So in this following class, we're going to do a few of the core maneuvers, as well as looking at a couple of the arm and wrist ones that we can do. Now throughout the lesson, I will talk about a spinal pelvic lock. Now the spinal pelvic lock is about drawing your belly button towards the spine and pulling your sex organs up. So we've got a really nice tight core. Now this allows the fascia to unravel around the spinal pelvic lock. It also helps stabilize our movement within our hips, making sure that we're not with our pelvis tilt, so we've got a nice strong center. With a nice strong center, it helps with the canal rotation that we do when we walk, because this is strong, everything else is free to move. So it is something really important that we need to concentrate on when we're doing the fascial maneuvers. I understand if you have just started doing these, holding that for the whole time can be a little bit difficult. That's why I'll give you some reminders. Hold it for as long as you can. If you need to let it go, you let it go, and then just bring it back on when you can. So just being conscious of bringing in and holding that core nice and tight. And we'll also work throughout the class on different zones. So within fascial maneuvers, we see that we have the neck up as zone 1, shoulders to the hips as zone 2, and then the hips down as zone 3. Because we're a pressurized system, that we use the pinning and locking and the breath to shift the pressure in our bodies to actually open up the fascial layers. It's important when we shift the pressure from one zone to another that we then work on that zone. So we don't just want to do head work in zone 1 because that pressure is being shifted. And then we will need to release it, and vice versa for all the different zones. So it is important that you have a look at doing maneuvers that work on each of the different zones. Just for a little bit of a tip as well, your arms and your legs, so your limbs, have zones amongst them as well. So, and they actually sort of equate to each other. So your wrist and your ankle are zone 1, your arm and your elbow are zone 2, and zone 3, your shoulders and your hips. So they are all connected. So if you've got a bit of a sore knee, you can actually do some work on your elbow, and that can help free up the knee. And same with the wrist and the ankle and vice versa. So the first one we're going to look at is the palate swipe. Now the palate swipe, obviously we're dealing with the palate in the face. It's really nice at reducing any tension within your mouth. We hold our jaw a lot. So it's really nice at reducing that tension, also our neck tension, and all of that tension has that spiral effect of going all the way down. The palate is also represented within the pelvic floor, so you can feel that going all the way down and releasing into your pelvic floor. So a really effective one, and it's pretty quick and simple. So as I mentioned, we're going to engage that spinal pelvic lock. So we're pulling that belly button up. We're pulling the sex organs up. Now we're going to cross your right foot over your left, and your right hand is going on your left shoulder, and your left hand is going on your right shoulder. We've still got that spinal pelvic lock happening. We're going to take our thumb, and we're going to stick it into our mouth, and we're going to swipe it across our palate, or the roof of your mouth, from your right across to your left. And we're going to do that 6 times. So, in we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And shake it off. Go for a walk. So always we're walking in between maneuvers to allow that integration. As I've spoken about in other classes and in videos, that we can walk in a figure 8 to allow the polarity in our left and right. You can also do figure 8s with your arms. Alright, so we're going to go through and do the 15-minute, well that's part of it, the palate swipe is one of the maneuvers for the 15-minute reset. The next one is totally twisted. So again, we've got that spinal pelvic lock on. And it's the same setup, or nearly the same setup as the palate swipe. So we're going to cross the right leg over the left. We're going to place our right arm underneath our left shoulder, left armpit, and our left hand up on top of our right shoulder. We're going to turn our head to the left and our body to the right. We're going to stick our tongue into our cheek finding a spot of tension, or wherever that is. We're going to do 6 breaths through our nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we're going to do the staged breaths. So 1, 2, 3, and again. Twist a little bit more. And you've still got your spinal pelvic lock on. And last stage breaths. 1. Twist a little bit more. Now you're going to find a spot to look at, and we're just going to do 6 calming breaths through our nose and out our mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And unwinding, keeping your hands and your feet where they are, pulling in the spinal pelvic lock, turning your head to the right this time and your body to the left. And again, we're sticking our tongue into our cheek and finding that spot of tension and holding it there. 6 breaths. 1, 2, 6. Now we're doing the staged breath, so that's breathing in through pursed lips and holding and doing it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, turn a little bit more, and again, 1, and last time, 1, turn a little bit more, and pulling in that spinal pelvic lock, finding your eyes and fixing it on a point, and 6 breaths through your nose. 1, 2, making sure you keep that round counter rotation. 5, 6, and unwinding. Alright, so go for a walk if you need to. Letting that integrate. I just had a big clunk in the hip. Okay, so we'll do the other side. So you need to step back a little bit. Left foot over your right foot. Your left arm underneath your right armpit, your right arm on top. You've got your spinal pelvic lock engaged. We're going to turn our head to the right and our body to the left. And we're going to stick our tongue in our cheek, finding that spot of tension. And we do the 6 breaths through your mouth. And spinal pelvic lock on, and then we're going to do our 3 staged breaths. So in through pursed lips. 1, 2, 3, turn a little bit more, and again, 1, 2, 3, and again, 1, 2, 3, and then 6 calming breaths, so finding a spot to focus on. 1, 2, and coming back to center with our spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to turn our head to the left and our body to the right, and finding that tension spot and sticking your tongue in and doing 6 breaths through your nose. And then your stage breaths, so in through pursed lips, hold, 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 turn a little bit more, and exhale, and again, 1, 2, 3, down, and one more time. 1, 2, 3. Spinal pelvic lock. And the last 6 breaths, finding a point to look at, and 6 breaths through your nose. Unwinding. Oh. Alright. You may have noticed that things have gotten a little bit calmer and quieter. So that one we've used it in all zones. So with the counter rotation of our head and our body and the crossing of the legs, we're pinning and locking the pressure in different areas and creating releases in zone 1, 2 and 3. Now we're going to go on to the second part of the stress reset. So for this one, it is anti-gravity. So we're going to interlock our fingers, including your thumbs, and we're going to place it down towards your shoulders, and then we're going to pull up under your neck. And we're going to keep that under your head, under your skull, so under your there. So from our shoulders up, we're pinning it under there. And we've got our spinal pelvic lock on. We've got our elbows up towards the sky. We're looking up. We're going to do 3 breaths through our mouth. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 breaths through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to bring our elbows in and our chin to our chest, but we're keeping that nice long spine. We're not collapsing anywhere. We've got our long spine. It's just our neck that we are going to move. And we're going to breathe in through our mouth. We're going to turn our head to the right and then exhale as we move our head back to center. And again, inhale through our mouth, head to the left and exhale back to center. Now 2 more times. Inhale, right, exhale. Inhale, left, exhale, and again, right, inhale, left, exhale. Now we're going to go down into our squat, making sure we've got that spinal pelvic lock on. We're still gripping, our elbows can come out, our chest comes out. For this, we're hinging and sticking our bottom out, and we're not squatting down. Our knees aren't going over our toes. We're pushing our bottom back. So we've pushed our bottom back, we're looking up, and we've got our spinal pelvic lock on, and we're going to breathe through our mouth. Turn to the right and exhale, and again, left, right, left, and exhale. Now we're going down into the squat. Remember, if you can't go all the way down, go down as far as you can, but you still want to curl your head forward like you are in a squat. And here we still want the spinal pelvic lock on, and we're going to do 3 breaths through our mouth. And then 3 breaths through your nose. And you can move around a little bit if you like, from side to side. You can really curl forward. You can sit up straight. And once you've done the breaths, you can stick your bottom up, let the body hang. Allow the body a moment to enjoy. And then we're going to slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, all up, finishing with your hands in the air. And I've got a little bit warm. Nice way to warm up doing fascial maneuvers. So walking around again, you can go in your figure 8. So a really nice spinal decompression. Again, another fascial maneuver that works on all 3 zones. Okay. So we're going to go into swinger. So for swinger, we're going to start with our feet in hip width apart. We've engaged the spinal pelvic lock. This is another one where we're going to push our bottom back. We're not sitting down, we're hinging. So we've hinged a little bit forward. We've got our fingertips on our knees. We're going to place our right hand up behind our left shoulder. With our left hand, we're going to pull the skin down on the arm, and we're going to lock it into place on the elbow. We're going to turn our head to the right and body around to the left, and we're keeping that position. We're going to do 3 breaths through the mouth. And 3 breaths through the nose. And coming up. Oh. So really nice engagement of the right shoulder and left hip. So that kind of balancing, kind of lateral rotation. Good for rotational sports. It is important that we don't want our knees going everywhere with this one. So we are going to try and keep our knees forward. And if you need to, thinking about pulling them in together. So we'll do the other side. So remember, Spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to hinge forward so our fingertips are on our knees. We're going to place our left hand on the back of our right shoulder. Our right hand is pulling the skin down onto your elbow. We're turning our head to the left and our body down to the right. We're leaning forward, hinging a little bit more forward, sticking that butt out. And coming up. Lots of crunking for me today. If you are feeling a little bit lightheaded like I am right now, you can bring your hands to your chest. Really nice way to reconnect to the body. Bring you back into your body. Just seems to help with the lightheaded feeling. So again, you can go for that figure eight walk. Okay, so we're going to do pullover. So pullover is really nice at opening up into the lower back from the shoulder, across the down and into the lower back, opening up the diaphragm, the lungs, the kidneys, all of that, particularly after we've been sitting, because we do sit a lot. So we're going to use our right hand and we're going to pull it. You don't have to go skin on skin, you can do it on your clothes. I like to do it skin on skin. So we're doing it over towards the meaty part of your shoulder. It's not near your neck, it's obviously not on the arm, but on the shoulder there. So we're pulling, pushing down, pushing in on the skin and then pulling the skin up and over your shoulder. With your left hand, you're wrapping it around your rib cage and you're pulling the skin forward. And we need to keep this the whole time. So we don't want to let this go. This is pinning and locking the fascia so that we can create pressure changes with our breath. So we're going to turn, we've got our spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to turn our head to the left. We're going to lift the left shoulder up and we're going to squat down a little bit. And then we're going to lift this left shoulder up even more. And we're going to bring it across our body towards our right knee. Feel free to curve your back into this one if you feel. We need to make sure we're still counter rotating so our head is over our left shoulder. And we're going to breathe. 3 times through the mouth. And then 3 times through the nose. Keeping the head over your shoulder. And then coming up. And releasing. And going for that walk. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. So, with our left hand this time we're going down our shoulder and bringing the fascia forward. So pinning the skin, bringing the skin up and over. With our right hand we're wrapping it around our left ribs and we're pulling and pinning it and bringing it forward. Put our legs in a nice wide hip width apart. We've got our spinal pelvic lock on. We're turning our head over our right shoulder. We're lifting our right shoulder up. We're squatting down. And then we're going to lift this right shoulder a bit forward. And up and over towards our left knee. Our head is still looking over our right shoulder. We've got the counter rotation. And 3 breaths. Through your mouth. And then 3 breaths through your nose. And unwinding. And I'm a bit lightheaded, so I'm going to put my hands on my heart and take some breaths to center myself. So as our fascia starts to open up, we can sometimes feel lightheaded. We're getting more air in there. So it's a lovely thing. I've been sitting a bit today. I've been driving to a session, so my body needs these openings. So we're going to do pretzel squat this time. So we're going to start, and this is a beautiful hip opener. Perfect if you've been sitting in the car. So we're going to start with our left foot pointing forward, and our right foot is coming to a T, to the left foot. As always, we're thinking about bringing the belly button to our spine, our sex organs up, nice strong core. We're going to step out about 3 foot, but a comfortable distance. We're going to place our left hand out in front of us. Our right hand is going on our hip. And we're going to push into that hip. So we're pushing our hips into our right hand. Our head is coming over our left shoulder. We're going to place our left hand on our right shoulder and our right arm up our back. We're still leaning in, heading over the left shoulder. We're going to equally bend our knees, not our feet. We're keeping that left shoulder forward and the head over our left shoulder. 3 breaths through your mouth. And then 3 breaths through your nose. And then we're switching hands. So our right hand's left shoulder, our left arm is up behind our back, our right shoulder comes forward, and our head is over our right shoulder. And we still got our spinal pelvic lock on. And 3 breaths through your mouth. And 3 breaths through your nose. And slowly coming up and unwinding. So quite a powerful one in releasing the restrictions and tension around our hips. So getting down into zone 3. So swinger is mainly zone 2. Working the shoulder and the hip, a little bit of zone 3. And this one's really nice at opening up down through our hips. Then we'll do the other side. So we've got our right foot facing forward and our left foot coming to a T. We're going to place it out in front of us in a comfortable distance. We're going to reach our right arm forward and our left arm is going on our left hip. We're going to put our head over our right shoulder. We're going to start to push our weight into our left hip, and we're going to place our right hand on our left shoulder and our left hand up our back. We're still leaning in towards the center. We've got our spinal pelvic lock on. Our head is over our right shoulder. We're equally bending and we're going to breathe. 1, 2, 3, and 3 breaths through your nose. And swapping hands, so left hand, right shoulder, right hand up. Left shoulder is now forward and our head is over our left shoulder. And coming up. Slowly coming up and unraveling and going for a bit of a walk. Whew. A little bit lightheaded again. Okay. So they're the five plus pallet swipes, so 6 maneuvers that we've done. Now we're going to get into a little bit of arm work. But obviously, even though we're working the arm, it still opens up. I'm a little bit breathless after that one. It still opens up fascia in our body, in the rest of our body. So it's not just because of the connection between the zones of our arms. When we start to work on the wrist and the elbow, we can feel effects in our ankles and knees. And because of the pressurized system, when we lock one area of the body, if we're locking up the top, the pressure has to go somewhere. So, so you may not just notice the difference in your arm, you might notice it anywhere. So, we will start with the wrist release. So, for the wrist release, it's a bit of a tongue twister. We're going to grab your left hand and we're going to have your right arm fall out in front with the palm up, and with the left hand we're going to turn the skin outwards and we're going to turn the arm, the wrist or the hand inwards. We're then also going to push the hand out and pull the skin up towards your shoulder. So you're trying to like put a glove on, so we've twisted it out and then up and we've in. And you can move your wrist around a little bit, you can move your arm. Remember, you've got your spinal pelvic lock on. And also remember that fascia likes to move slow at 4 centimeters a second. So we don't want to move too fast. Now, because it works the ankles, if you can get down into a squat. You can move around in different directions. So just having a play around and letting that go. And just take a moment to notice the difference between your right and your left and see if you can notice a difference, and maybe even into your ankles. All right, we'll do the other arm. So left hand out in front, grabbing your right hand, and we're going to twist the skin out and turn the hand into the midline. We're going to pull up while you push your arm out. You can, if you want, you can use your knee, but I like to move around. Don't forget your spinal pelvic lock. And breath. Remember, it's the breath that opens up the fascia line. So it's always alternating 3 between your mouth and then 3 between your nose, unless I say otherwise. So all right. Shake it off. Now we're going to do an arm pull. This is a modified version for doing it yourself. There's also there's 2 beautiful partner maneuver arm pulls you can do. This one, if you don't have someone to do it with, it's a bit of a modification. So we're going to use our left hand to grab the top of our right arm. And what we're going to do is we're grabbing it up close to the armpit as you can, and we're going to twist the skin towards the back. So out. Now what we're going to do is we want to resist. So we're going to sort of like pull our arm down, but instead of letting it pull down, we're going to resist against it. So you've twisted the skin, you're pulling the skin down, and then you're resisting. Spinal pelvic lock, and you can move your arm around, just keeping that resistance. Moving your fingers, moving your arm. So 3 breaths through your mouth and 3 breaths through your nose. Letting go. Really like a dingly dangly scarecrow. So you may find, I'm not sure if you can see, but my shoulder is sitting further back. This one's sort of forward. So it's released all up into my shoulder. And it's feeling nice and light. Feeling lovely. All right, so we'll do the other side so I can stand properly and evenly. So with your right hand, we're going to grab up high near your armpit and we're going to twist the skin away, so toward, like out. Good description. We're going to pull the skin down, and remember we're resisting. So pulling down, resisting, and got your spinal pelvic lock on. I feel like keep it moving. So if you've done 6 breaths and you want to keep going, just start with your mouth breath and do another 3. Alright. So yeah, wow. So you can see my shoulders are back. And of course, once we start to open up our shoulders, we open up our hips, so that comes into the zones. So as I said, even though we're working our shoulders, you will find a change in other parts of your body. And that's also why walking is really important. So we're going to do the elbow talk. So we're going to do there's 2 different ways we're going to do it. And we're going to do both on one side, and then we'll do both on the other. So with your right arm, we're just going to place it on the back of your trap there. Now, going to have a play around with twisting the skin on your elbow. See which way doesn't want us to twist as much. So one will move easier than the other. It's no right or wrong. For most people it will be out. Doesn't mean anything if it's not. But the way that it doesn't want to twist as much, we're going to hold it there. Now it's important that we hold it there for the whole time. So we're not letting go. We want to keep this position. Now we've got our spinal pelvic lock engaged, and we're going to turn our head to the left and body towards the right, and we're just going to breathe. You can move around a little. If you want to step a leg, and 3 through your nose. And now we're going to keep this arm like this. If you need to regrip, because we've had it there a while. And we're going to actually lift our arm up above our head. If you can't get it above your head, go to where you can go. And it'll be the same thing. We're going to turn our head to the right. And we're going to lean over towards the left. We've got our spinal pelvic lock engaged. And we're going to do 3 breaths through our mouth. 2. You might like to push your weight into your hip a little bit, into your right hip. 3 breaths through your nose. And you might like to just, and we're still going to breathe, but we can just move around a bit in this position, making sure your head is still looking towards your right. We're just exploring different movements. You might want to straighten one leg. You might want to get down into a bit of a squat. Working the shoulder, it's nice to work the hips. Again, you might want to place one foot behind. Just remembering to move slow and to continue to breathe. Whew. And letting it go. Okay. Even further rotation with that shoulder. So we're really starting to open up even into the side and down into the glute. So we will do the left side. So placing your left hand on the back. Again, just having a test. See which way your skin wants to go, or it doesn't want to go. Remember, we're going the way it doesn't want to go. It's harder to twist. We're locking it into place. And we've got our spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to turn our head to the right and our body to the left. So 3 breaths through our mouth and then 3 breaths through our nose. Right, so we've got this position. We're going to bring it above our head. If you need to regrip. We've got to keep that locked. And then we're going to turn our head to the left and our body over towards the right. And we're going to breathe through our mouth 3 times. Through your nose 3 times. And then still you've got your spinal pelvic lock on, you're still looking underneath your left. But you invite you to explore how it feels moving around, moving slowly. Remembering to breathe. And unwinding. Huh? Working up a sweat. It's getting cold here in Australia. It's nice to warm up by doing fascia maneuvers and not a heater. We've got our internal fascia maneuver heater. So last one to finish off the class is twisty wristy. So for twisty wristy, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to do it with a little bit of a difference. So I will do the proper way, but I am going to add just a little bit. So if it's not okay, you can give me some feedback. So with your right hand, we're going to place it with your fingertips down. With your left, we're going to pull our fingers back. So it looks like that. We want to think about pushing, pushing that bit, our wrist forward. So we're really locking the fascia into place. We're going to have our spinal pelvic lock on, our arm is up, and again, just like the elbow talk, I just want you to explore different movements. So finding those lines of tension. We're not scared of tension in fascial maneuvers. We want to breathe into the lines of tension. Remember, we're using our breath. Okay, so now we're going to bend our arm in, just taking note of where the pressure moves when you do that. And then we're going to turn our fingers out. We're going to squat down a little bit with our spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to turn our head to the left and body to the right. I'm going to do 3 breaths through our mouth. And 3 breaths through your nose. And unwind. So really nice one. So even though we're working the 3 zones in our arm, it's locking up. I felt that in my neck, in my hips, in my shoulders. So again, really nice all body one, and particularly when we move around with the shifts of the squatting and moving of the legs, we're locking the pressure in different areas to making it so it goes in all 3 zones. So let's do the left hand. So fingers down, we're pulling the fingers back. We've got our spinal pelvic lock on. We're going to use the breath. And we're going to slowly move around in this position. bring our arm out in front. So when we bring this arm in, I really want you to pay attention to where the pressure shifts in your body. Where you might feel that. And then turning your fingers out. We're squatting down, head to our right, body to the left. And going for a walk. And thank you for joining me on this journey of fascial maneuvers.